MGM Plus have announced all of their television shows and shows in development for the next year, but no sign of Stargate. Should we be worried? Welcome to Scitrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. The brilliant Gateworld just released a story telling you guys all about this big announcement by MGM Plus. It's all part of this Television Critics Association's Winter Press Tour. We got a load of information about Star Trek yesterday, and overnight was MGM Plus's turn. Michael Wright released a statement talking about how they're increasing the stable of brilliant content that MGM has, including blockbuster movies and new television series planned for the future. But no Stargate. Now, in Gateworld's story, it talks about how, well, that's not really a massive shock, is it? We know that this is being pitched, but we don't actually think it's at the development stage yet. Well, that's 100% correct. At the end of the day, this was never going to be announced yesterday because of what we know that happened just before Christmas. Now, if you're regular Scitrek, you'll know what I'm talking about, but just to quickly recap, Penguin and Parker, the company owned by Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby, is the front runner to have the new Stargate franchise, but it is not agreed yet. There is no contract, there is no signature on the dotted line. At the moment, they're still negotiating that, and they're also going to probably be looking for other partners to produce the TV show and movie, and I'm going to come back to that in a second because that's important. With them in the future, because at the end of the day, Penguin and Parker will be the development arm of this partnership. They will be the ones developing, writing, executive producing the TV show. Another company will actually make it. I actually believe they're probably going to end up doing what they did with The Expanse, and they're going to need another company, somebody that will step in and actually show run the project, because, well, Mark Fergus hasn't done that in the past, unless Mark Fergus is planning to step up and actually take the company a bit further with this project, which, God, I hope he does. I actually think it's possibly very likely that another company, another partner will come in and that they will show run. Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus will do all the heavy lifting, but another company will actually own a studio, actually make the show, and act like a manager. Now, as I mentioned, before Christmas, there was a series of negotiations and meetings. Those meetings didn't end particularly well. Now, I have heard some rumors, and those are going to be very much in the rumor category, that actually Mark Fergus, when he met Michael Wright, wasn't particularly happy. Apparently, as well, there was a meeting penciled in with Jennifer Salke from Amazon, but that didn't happen. So Mark Fergus apparently came out of that meeting rather displeased because, for one, the budget that they were being offered to produce a 10-episode run of a new Stargate series was roughly half of what they were hoping for. Also, that Michael Wright is pushing for this to appear on MGM Plus instead of Amazon Prime, and that would be worldwide. The assumption being that it would be on MGM Plus in the United States, and then worldwide it would appear on Prime. Now, Mark Fergus, his argument apparently is that, you know, it won't get the viewers worldwide. People don't watch MGM Plus worldwide. Back in the United States, it's an established premium subscription service. But the rest of the world, it's just an add-on to Amazon Prime that no one else watches. So he is pushing for a different plan for whatever TV show he then produces. The thing is, I believe those meetings just before Christmas were to finalize the agreements, hopefully get the contracts at very least in principle agreed. But then Stargate could have been announced by the January 15th date when Epix becomes MGM Plus in the United States. I think that was always the ideal plan. But negotiations haven't gone as well as hoped or as quickly as hoped, and they've just not quite been able to make it. Now, I'm actually being told that these negotiations is perfectly normal for a larger franchise, remembering that this project will probably cost at least $60 million, hopefully more like $100 million. It's not a small project. It's not a small deal. Now, again, talking to the insiders I speak to, negotiations like this take months. It's normal. They just do. If ever you've ever worked in business, you'd understand that any big contract negotiations that basically the end result is spending $100 million always takes months. And Amazon do work far more like a business than the traditional studio, so they take even longer. So the fact that these negotiations maybe didn't go as well as hoped before Christmas really just means it's part of the negotiation. They might have been aiming for the middle of January for this announcement, but they just couldn't quite get there. Now, I'm told that meetings are continuing from this week into next week. I'm actually had a little bit of an update on that apparently a lot of the meetings initially this week aren't going to be actual face-to-face meetings. There's still some negotiation discussions going on with lower level executives, some of the bean counters, and some of the different teams that work on these proposals. And then next week, hopefully, there might be a meeting, and that might even include a meeting between Mark Fergus and Michael Wright. But again, at the moment, that's all rumor, that's all hearsay. Let's actually wait for some confirmation. As soon as I get that, though, I will be sharing it with you guys. So one of the big reasons it's not being announced as part of the MGM Plus plans is because the negotiations are still ongoing, and it's not been decided definitely that it will appear on MGM Plus. Mark Fergus is arguing against that plan. So that's one reason why it's not on the docket for next year's plans. Another reason, as I keep saying to you guys, MGM and Amazon would quite like to do a Stargate movie first. Now, obviously, if they're going to do a movie first that will go to cinema, that's obviously not going to appear on the MGM Plus plans for the next 12 months. So that's the second reason why it hasn't appeared as part of these MGM Plus plans. If they do a movie and negotiations do go as planned and they can find another partner reasonably quickly, I'm certain that will be the point where it gets announced. I don't think that's going to be until late spring at the earliest. Then development will start, which is the third reason why it doesn't appear on this list for new TV shows or shows in development. The simple fact is it isn't in development. We're not at that point yet. The contract has not been signed, as I say, so they cannot move forward with any development. And by development, I mean pre-production development, not the development work they've done as part of the pitch, because that's all that has been done so far. The development work is to get to the point where the executives have an idea what is planned and that they can green light it. Then the real work really starts, the real proper development, i.e. writing scripts, finalizing scripts. I happen to know that Mark Fergus has apparently written 2, maybe 3 scripts already that would then become the first 3 episodes of this new series. But the development on those scripts is really very shallow. It's basically been written, shown to Amazon. They've gone, oh, lovely. Okay, now let's go over on to the next bit. No more than that. Before a series actually got made, there would be far more scripts written, redrafts, etc., well before they actually then start making the project. So those are the main reasons why we shouldn't actually be worried that MGM Plus have not announced Stargate. For one, it's going to be a movie first, chances are. For 2, it's not in development yet anyway. And for 3, negotiations are still going on. So let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. It was always the plan to have it announced by now. It's not happened. That's business. But one final reason why I think it was never going to be announced as part of this press junket anyway was because this is actually a massive project. It will create lots and lots of interest. You don't announce something like that on the same day you're announcing several other things. You announce it on a day when no one's announcing anything else, so that it'll be the only thing people talk about that day. You want lots and lots of clicks. You want lots of idiots like me making videos about it. You want the attention to be solely focused on the big project. That's why I never thought it was going to happen today anyway. So let's see what happens in the coming weeks. We're going to cross our fingers. We're going to keep talking about it on this channel, even though it is getting a little irritating. And we're going to remember that this process is going to take a long time. But the end result will be a television show, hopefully, we're all going to absolutely adore just as much as we love the original. But please, guys, get into the comments. Tell me exactly what you think. Were you expecting this news by now? Or do you actually think, no, everything I've been telling you on Scitrek, you completely understand that this is a process and we'll get there eventually. Let's just be a little bit patient. I know patience is difficult, though, when it's a show like Stargate that we just want on our screens immediately. But get in the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out, and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to support the channel a little bit more, consider hitting the join button. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.